Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Let's get over here. Let's get Instagram live. There we go. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Where's my music at? There it is. All right. Hey, good morning. Welcome to episode 1301. Yeah, we hit episode 1300 over the weekend. I don't know that I knew that was going on, but here we go. So, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing amazing. The conversation I wanted to have with you this morning. Good morning, Peggy in Singapore. The conversation I wanted to have with you this morning, this whole month of September, is all about becoming indistractable, right? How do we become indistractable? How do we no longer let distractions pull us away from our goals, from our dreams, our wants, our wishes? Here's the biggest challenge. Most people can't say they are distracted. What's up? Because they don't know what they were being attracted to. Right now, what was your intention this morning? Was your intention this morning to find challenges, to find distractions, to get upset because your coffee wasn't hot or your coffee spilled or you were out of creamer? Are those the distractions? Do they really pull you off your goal? One of the biggest reasons, one of the biggest challenges most people have issues with their goals is their memory. All right, we listened to Jim Quick this morning in meditation and talking about the pencil list. And the pencil list is just something for simple association, right? He uses some different links than I was taught as a memory trainer, as a memory teacher, as a certified memory coach. Oh, wait a minute. You do memory training? Yeah, I do. It's something I learned from my good friend Ron White, two-time U.S. memory champion. If you want to learn about memory, if you want to take one of his courses, I can get you some pretty cool access to a course that us trainers are allowed to deliver to the general public. So that being said, your memory is your biggest distraction. Follow me on this. Follow me on this. Listen carefully. This might hurt a little. Here's why your memory is your biggest distraction. Your memory is your biggest distraction. This up here, the brain, is because you haven't set your definite major purpose, or at least it seems that way. Follow me on this. If you have somebody on your team and they say, I want to hit this rank, I want to do this, I want to reach this goal, I want to reach this weight, right? Imagine you're part of a weight loss company. And in your weight loss company, people decide to sign up and they say, listen, I want to be at X number of pounds. I want to give away 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. I want to make an extra $500, $700, $800, $900, $1,000 residual income. They set a goal. And then they fall short of doing the things necessary to achieve it. Would you say they forgot about their goal? Listen carefully. No, they didn't forget about their goal. They have a memory called their past that makes them realize or remember they're not good enough. They're not smart enough. They're not strong enough. They're not skinny enough. They're not sexy enough. They're not tall enough. Their hair isn't straight. Their hair isn't curly. Your memory is your biggest distraction. So what are you doing to improve your memory? Are you writing out your goals every day of the things that you want? See, the challenge is that we have this idea, this concept, this belief that our memory is not good. Drop a 1 in the chat if some of you would say this, I'm not good at names. Drop a 1 in the chat if you'd say, I'm not good at names. I'm not good at remembering names. See, when you say that, you've just set the profile for your memory. Why would that be? Why does that have any bearing on why does that have any bearing on our goals? You forget that your goal is in the future, and your memory, your poor memory says, or your good memory to your failure says, here's a goal in the future. Here's a goal that I want in the future. This goal that I want in the future is going to require me to do things new, see things new, hear things new, feel things new, and I have no memory of it. Kyle Cease teaches this philosophy called Kalego, where you speak from the future as if it's the past. That's a hard thing for people to wrap their brain around. So you have to create new neural connections. Listen carefully. This is what makes me different. This is what makes me extremely different as it relates to setting goals, and achieving your success. Follow me on this. The reason that most people find it difficult to speak from this September 19th, I think it's the 19th, 2023, speak as if this is September 19th, 2023. And you're going to tell me what happened in September, June, July, August, September. You're going to tell me what happened in August. How many of you have to do that? You got to count the months to figure out what your last month was, right? How many of you can tell me what happened in August of 2023 that got you to your successful day of September 19th, 2023? Drop a B in the chat if your brain is buzzing a little bit, trying to figure this out. Drop a B in the chat if you're saying, this is a little bit odd. What do you mean talk about as if this is September 19th, 2023? Follow me on this. See, if I can get you to understand this, if I can get you to grasp this, you'll do business with me. Follow me on this. You'll do business with me. And you'll realize that you've been kind of throwing your energy away, your money away, because nobody has taught you this philosophy. See, when you sit at September 19th, 2023, your brain's going, wait a minute. It's not your brain. Listen carefully. It's not your brain going, that doesn't make sense. It's your memory that's saying it doesn't make sense. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about your memory is the archive of everything that's ever happened to you. Dr. Shad Helmstetter, the father of self-talk, says that everything you say, everything that's ever been said to you is recorded in your brain. That which you repeat on a regular basis becomes permanent. You have not created the permanent understanding that you can put yourself into the future and speak back and activate your reticular activating system, undo the neuroencoding that is causing you to feel this uncomfortable feeling right now. And your brain is saying, there's no pattern here. There's no pattern here. And if there's no pattern here, the brain says, then this must be, here's where most people don't follow through. It says, if there's no pattern here, this must be something that's going to hurt me. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. Is that my Jessica from the UK? Is that my Jessica? Oh my goodness. Hello, my love. If your brain is fighting with you right now about sitting here a year from now, if your brain is sitting there arguing, it is creating new neural patterns. Listen carefully. It is creating new neural communities. Hello, my love. You need to follow Jessica, please. And you also need to follow her amazing 70-year-old tortoise, Sir Brutus. He's an incredible soul. You'll learn a lot from Sir Brutus, I promise you. Your brain is looking for this pattern, and it can't find the pattern about you sitting a year from now and already talking about August of 2023. Listen carefully. This is why most people can't listen carefully. I'm giving you some gold here. This is some amazing stuff. Crypto, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. I think that's the first time I ever got to say that. Somebody actually followed me while I'm talking. That's so awesome, Crypto. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here's the challenge. This is why most people have a hard time setting their goals, setting their intentions for the day. Because with intentions, you're futuring your success. Most people find it very hard to speak their own success. How do I know this? Listen carefully. Drop an R in the chat if you get uncomfortable with recognition. I'm not saying you don't like it. What I am saying is that if you get a little uncomfortable, if somebody starts gushing over you, right? We say things like they gushed over me, or they said nice things about me. If you have a hard problem, if you have a challenge with recognition, I'm looking at all the R's in the VIP chat. Instagram, if you've got a challenge with people recognizing you and saying nice things about you in front of other people, drop an R in the chat. That's awesome, Claudia. Yes, that would make perfect sense on the trajectory of success that you're on, the hockey stick of upward growth. Yeah, it's a big challenge. So here's the reality. This is what I teach all of my students. I ask them a very simple question. Here's the funny part. You ready for something funny? That's not too funny. Are you ready for the love? This is the biggest in my 40 years of personal undevelopment. 40 years in my personal undevelopment. One of the biggest challenges that I see is people are not ready for the love. Now, let's go back to some basic fundamentals here. Can we go back to the 1, 2, 3s, the ABCs, the blocking and tackling, the very basics, tie your shoes conversation? I need you to come back with me. I want you to stop this advancement of trying to think of how to be sophisticated and how to be sexy in your goal setting. Let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to the fundamentals. There's a phenomenon called addiction to approval. See, as an addiction to approval coach, as a mental toughness coach, as a self-talk coach, as a neuroencoding coach and trainer, I can coach and I can train the trainer in all of these disciplines. Listen carefully. Why do I spend all of this time on everything up here? You do not ask me how to do a proper curl. When you have a body by Schlitz, you do not ask me how to do leg presses. You do not. You don't ask me what a butterfly is, because I'm going to say it's the thing outside that lands on dogs' noses. But if you want to learn how to break from your current pattern of aggravation, frustration, disappointment, delay in your reaching your success, you're going to want to pay attention to me. You really are. So here's what happens. This idea of setting your intention for today, why do most people not set their intentions clearly for the day? Because they are literally ripping the identity of who they were before they started their intention. Listen carefully. It's easy to say, I'm going to speak to 5 people. I'm going to do 5 push-ups. I'm going to drink a gallon of water. I'm going to go do this. That is your intention. Why won't you excel? Why won't you decide to exceed your current capacity? Because you're not ready for the love. I take things to this fundamental level that has nothing to do with scripts or the algorithms. Are they important? I guess. But you sitting in your apartment, you sitting in your home, you sitting in your car, getting ready to walk into your job, getting ready to walk into a business meeting, getting ready to get on to another Zoom. If your energy isn't there, neither is your success. And why will your energy not be there? Because you don't have an intention to have the energy there. Listen, Einstein said this. Listen carefully. Einstein said this. Everything should be as simple as possible, not simpler. I'm breaking this down to the fundamental, basic, simplistic, fundamental ABC 1, 2, 3 steps that are necessary for you to achieve your success today. I'm not worried. I'm not going to set you up for a 90-day program. You're not ready for a 90-day program. How do I know? because you didn't set your intentions for today. How the hell are you going to start a 90-day program if on your own you're not worrying about one day out of 90? People hire me because they're tired and frustrated of where they're stuck. They keep repeating, they keep having this bounce out of ordinary success. They bounce out of ordinary, they have a great day of success, and they say, oh my gosh, you won't believe what happened. And then tomorrow they don't ever say you won't believe what happened. Drop a B in the chat if you've ever had a you won't believe what happened kind of day, but did you stack them day after day after day after day? I'll absolutely believe that you had one day of great success. The challenge is that you're not ready to believe that you can have a week of you won't believe what happened. 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 You know why you say you won't believe what happened? Listen carefully to the words. You are addicted to the approval of others. Listen, you can argue with me. I don't really care what anybody else thinks. Really? Really? I could ask you 7, 8 basic questions and you'll see a 99% challenge, 99% addiction to approval. Hey, Celeste, how are you? Good to see you. So if you're addicted to approval and you want to break out of where you're at, you realize you're the average of the 5 friends you hang around. Money-wise, there's friends you hang around that are your money friends. There's friends you hang around that are your energy friends. There's friends you hang around that are your learning, right? There's the 5 areas, the 5 basic areas: family, finance, body, mind, and society. There's people you hang around that are your going out on the town friends. They may, and some of them may intertwine, may be intermingled in any of the other factions. There's a good chance that your money friends and your faith friends are 2 different sets of people. That's a lot of averages you got to work on. Anyways, so addicted to the approval of others. How do you break out of the addiction to approval of others? You have to decide that you're not going to leave them. You're inviting them on the journey and they're deciding to stay. That simple switch will change everything. That simple switch will give you a new comprehension, a new understanding of that you're not leaving them. They're just deciding to stay. And when you truly set your goals, you are going to disappoint some of the people who are in your circles because they don't want you to leave. Drop an L in the chat if you've ever been around or have a certain set of groups or have left some people who didn't want you to leave. Drop an L in the chat if you've ever had people who say, oh, no, don't go. Don't go. I don't want you to go. And they never actually said the words. Here's how they kept you from leaving. They made you feel bad. They told you weren't good enough. That's addiction to approval, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the most vicious, one of the most incomprehensible, one of the most death-defying energies that we're not even aware of. It is a drug more powerful than morphine. The brain can produce a morphine, an internal drug more powerful than morphine, more addicted than cocaine, more addicting than cocaine. And dare I say, we're all addicts. We're all addicts. What happens when you finally found that thing you were passionate about and you said, I'm all in, and people said, well, there's something wrong with you. I mean, you sleep and eat this stuff and you're doing this stuff and you're blah, blah, blah. And they absolutely say to you, this is crazy. You're not even, listen, there's something wrong with you. Joe Dispenza, that it says our memory, our mind is the archive of everything that's ever happened to us. And when you go set a goal that doesn't have a memory, listen carefully. When you go set a goal that does not have a memory, the brain looks for two things. Will it kill me, or how fast can I recognize the pattern? And because the emotion, the idea of you having your new home, the idea of you having your new car, the idea of you having a new income, the idea of you having a new relationship, the idea of you taking care of your family, the idea of taking your family on vacation, the idea of fill in the blank, the idea of you being successful, the idea, the thought of you having this ability to serve and take care of your family in a way you've never done before triggers dopamine inside of the brain. And it's the feel good. Some of you think of your goals only to feel good, never to do this stuff, only to feel good. So now what happens is that you feel good. And the brain says, okay, if the brain only does two things, will it kill me, or how fast can I recognize the pattern? If you have the feel good dopamine flowing through your mind, follow me on this. Because if you get this, you and I are going to do business together. You're going to allow me to unlock your greatness. You're going to allow me to help you with SVT, subconscious visualization techniques. You're going to let me help you Kalagle. You're going to let me help you use QLQs, quantum linguistic questioning. If you have this great goal and it's not going to kill you, the brain's now going to look for a pattern. The brain's 2% of your body's weight, uses 20% of your body's resources. It doesn't want to spend any time trying to create new patterns. It does not like that. It will resist it at every cost, at every turn, at every level. So you now say, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to create $10,000 a month in income. I'm going to go reach the next level. I'm going to sponsor 5 people. And when I do that, I'll have a recognition. I'll have a little checkbox saying that I did it. My family will love me a little bit more, and you'll do all of these things. And all of a sudden you do all of this. And then the brain says, that's a great vision. There's no path. There's no recording of how this has ever taken place. So at an unconscious and subconscious level, here's the thing. The reason that most people fall short of their goals is they don't know how to access their subconscious part of their mind. And if you don't know how to access the subconscious part of your mind, right? 80,000 thoughts yesterday. You had 80, 70,000 thoughts, 60,000 thoughts. Pick a number. You had a bucket full of thoughts yesterday. 3,000 to 5,000 were new. 55, 60,000 were repetitive from yesterday. And here's what science shows us. Here's what science shows us. Not Sean pulling numbers out of his tuchus. Is that when you have a day go through of the 70,000, 60,000 thoughts you had, 80% of those thoughts are repetitive from yesterday. They run at the subconscious level. They run at the subconscious level. And out of those 55,000 thoughts from yesterday, 80% of those were negative, were not in your favor. They weren't on your side. And then you decide that you're going to set a goal one day at an event on a call with Sean Murphy. You're going to draw a line in the sand. You're going to say, you know what, son of a gun, today's the day I'm going for all that I want, and I don't really give a rat's butt about anybody else. I'm not going to be worried about what my mom told me or what my spouse says to me or what my old ex says to me. I'm going to be a better parent. I'm going to be a better this. I'm going to be a better that. And today's the day. And you decide and you draw the line in the sand and you get aggravated. You get mad. And you decide to move forward. And because you can't stay mad enough to reach your dreams, your subconscious programming won't allow you to do that. You don't want to piss anybody off. Your addiction to approval shows up. Guess what happens? You fall back in line. You fall back in line because it's not worth it. You've got to decide, is your success worth it? Is your goal worth it? Your memory is your biggest challenge. And here's why. We have a memory. If you listen to any scientists, For those of you that are faith-based, I believe in God. They say, well, we've been around for 6,000 years, 7,000 years. Figure out the number. Science says we have a 2 million year old brain. Science says it hasn't changed in the last 500,000 years. We have all of this mindset. We have all of this prefrontal cortex and what they call the alligator brain and the midbrain. Listen, all I know is that I can predict human nature. I'm not going to say I can predict what you will do, but I can predict what you will do. If I say up, your brain instantly went to down. If I say in, I've now established a pattern because I led you, right? Neuro-linguistic programming, I led you. So now everything I say, your brain is going to, you can't avoid it. Your brain is going to look for the opposite. If I say hot, oh, you said cold. If I say white, you say black. If I say tall, you say short. This is the way your brain operates. It operates in a duplex mode, a binary functioning. If I say success, your brain pulls up at a subconscious level 1,001 ways that you've failed. And if I say failure, because your addiction to approval, tell me some ways you failed. You can give me a list of 50 of them like that. Your brain doesn't instantly go to opposite, because if your brain went to the success, if I said, think of all of your failures, and you instantly went to think of all of your successes, first of all, you don't have that many. In your mind, I think you have a whole boat full of them. When I teach my students, when I teach those people who take my courses, go write out your list of 500 things you've done well. They freeze at 60. Because they think they have to be Nobel Prize winning moments where you've done well. I'm talking about, have you ever ridden a bike? How many of you thought, what are some things I've done well? Did you ever learn to ride a bike? Some of you, I'm looking at some of the names in different places. Some of you speak 2, 3, 4 languages. Did you write that down? Well, no, that's just who I am. No, it's not. You weren't born with 4 languages. You were all born with the capacity. And some of you have chosen to use your capabilities to improve your capacity. Do you know why goal setting is so hard? Because you haven't achieved the goals in the time frame. You set these big ass goals, and then you don't do the basic 1, 2, 3s, ABCs, blocking and tackling. So I'm going to help you rewire that right now. I want you to, Joseph McClendon III, who's a neuroencoding training specialist, teacher, mentor of mine, talks about recognition. And we need to be the one who recognizes our own capabilities, recognizes our own successes. When you start saying, I did that, right? Oh, I'm going to take a sip of water. How many of you have some water in front of you, a coffee in front of you, a beverage in front of you? Go ahead and say, I'm going to drink it. I'm going to take a sip of that. I did that. Now say, I did that. There's going to be a neuroencoding. Tell me, drop an F in the chat if your body felt funny. If you just took a sip of your coffee, of your water, or your beverage, and then you said, I did that. I achieved my goal. How many of you are saying, this is stupid? You felt uncomfortable. Can I let you know why you did that? Your addiction to approval. You're like, that's not enough. I just drank a beverage. How is that like going to get me become a master of my domain? How you do anything. How many of you have heard this phrase? How you do anything is how you do everything. And when you finally decide that you are a success machine, not a sex machine, a success machine. Did he just say? Yeah, humor is wildly important when you are challenging the brain because it will shut down. If you can't bring a little humor into the conversation, if you can't relieve the pressure off of new neural encoding, new neural entrainments, new neural programming, you'll forget it in a heartbeat. So you want to watch what happens today. If you do this, there will be people, I promise you, there will be people who will, I don't want to say attack you, but they'll come after you. When you start to when you start to say, oh my, I'm going to have another sip. I'm going to have another sip of my L-arginine liquid. This helps my heart. I'm doing this for me. Yummy, 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 yummy. I did that for me. Look how successful I am in creating my own wealth and my own health. Because your biggest wealth is your health. So I'm getting the chills, literally. Do you see what happens? You start to get into this vibration. You start to realize how freaking amazing you are. You don't necessarily need another book. You don't necessarily need another event. You don't necessarily need another training. What you need is somebody who's going to teach you things you didn't know you could do. That's the definition of a mentor. You're going to need people who need you, who have to put into your place, put into your hands, put into your toolbox, things you can use when you're not on a call with them, things you can use when you're not with them. You can give yourself an atta girl and atta boy every time you take a sip of coffee. Every time you, I'm going to eat my salad today. I'm going to have a salad. When I put that little cherry tomato in my mouth and I bite it and it goes, pooh, fireworks go off. I did that. I just decided to eat something. I decided to eat non-GMO, whatever it is. It's time for you to fall back in love with you. And when you fall back in love with you, you're going to piss off some people. It's okay. Metaphorically, metaphysically, pat him on the head and go, oh, I love you. You're such a good baby. Oh, you were so good to me. I love you. I love you. Thank you for coming. Watch how fast you fall victim to addiction to approval. These patterns are running habitually. You have habitized yourself. You have habitually run this programming. It's called hedonics. And when you've run these programs day after day, hour after hour, decade after decade, it's almost impossible to break until, Jim Rohn's favorite word, until you start rewiring the programming. What I do is I help you rewire the program. I allow you the rewire without the category 5 tornado coming through your brain and destroying everything. This is what I do. The first thing we have to do is we have to upgrade your hardware. Have to upgrade your hardware. You are running software. You are running version 2022 software on a brain that's version 1000 BC, 2000 BC. You haven't upgraded your hardware. Our food today, would you agree our food today is less beneficial to us than it was 50 years ago, 20 years ago? The real Porter, how are you? I think the real C Porter. So if food isn't as good for us before and your brain is 2% of your body weight and it consumes 20 to 30% of your body's resources, would you say that maybe your brain is getting a little challenged? Would you say that that depression is a little bit more rampant now than it was 5 years ago? Would you say drinking is a little bit more rampant now than it was 5 years ago? Would you say that self-belief is a little less believable than it was 5 years ago? All of this is happening inside of your brain. And what are you doing to protect your brain? What are you doing to improve your memory? What are you doing to increase your capacity? If Alzheimer's is going to wind up with 25% more, 50% more cases in the next 25 years, that means some of you, and I pray that to God it's not, but statistically speaking, that means about half of you that are on this call right now, that are going to listen to this, the replay or listening right now, are going to wind up with some form of dementia because it shows up 20 to 30 years in the brain before we ever recognize it. And what are you doing to protect your brain? What are you doing to upgrade your hardware? Listen, go do the research. Don't listen to me. Go do the research. All I'm doing, I'm just a reporter right now. Have I figured out a solution for me and my family? You're damn right I have. Have I figured out a solution for those people who want to take care of their brain, who want to improve their capacity, who want to, when they turn into their 70s, they can remember their kid's name and their family's name and their grandkids' names? Yes, they have. They've become serious about upgrading their brain. When you're ready to do that, you'll reach out to me because I can not only just upgrade your brain, that's the easy part. I can help you upgrade your hardware. The next thing is what do you do with the upgrade? How many of you have bought a brand new computer and you had to wait? Listen carefully. You had to download the latest updates. You just bought a phone and all of a sudden it says download the latest updates. You just bought a Whoop and you says, okay, you've got your latest, greatest, you bought the latest version of Whoop. But by the time it left the factory to the time it got to your mailbox, it's already got downloads to upgrade. When's the last time you upgraded your brain? The hardware, not the software. You're upgrading the software all the time by reading and attending events and doing your journaling and writing your gratitude. You've not upgraded your hardware because if you're not reaching your goals day after day, after hour, your hardware is not letting your software that you paid thousands of dollars for, your hardware is not letting your software operate inside of the system because the hardware is version 2000 BC. Go Google it. So I've become a brain trainer. That's why I've become a neuroencoding expert. It's why I've decided to work on addiction to approval. It's why I've decided to work on your self-talk. I'm on the faculty. I barely made it through high school. I'm on the faculty of the Self-Talk University. One of 20 people in the world on the Self-Talk University as a faculty member. So here's what you do today. Every time you go drink something, before you go do it, before that habitual thing that causes you to go do it, types a memo. Listen, I'm about to do something that's pretty freaking awesome. I'm about to use technology, type a memo and tell somebody thank you. I'm about to use this wireless technology that Tesla and Edison, you figure out who's the one who created it. I'm going to this wireless technology that's going to allow me to send a heart to somebody I love. And you get to send a heart to somebody you love. And you did that. You decided that's valuable. So I say this. I love you. I appreciate you. You're amazing. You want to upgrade your hardware? Reach out to me. Do a little simple 5-day test. See if you can't upgrade your hardware. It's not about eating better. It's about feeding your brain better. 5 days, simple 5 days, $40. It's 2 Starbucks and a biscuit. Reach out to me. Let me show you how to upgrade your hardware because it's already in your body. Your body's just not producing it. The environment doesn't let you have it. But imagine if you started to upgrade your hardware. Everything you do happens through your brain. Everything you do happens through your brain. Everything you do happens through your brain. Not your thoughts, not your imagination, not your emotions, not your vision, your brain, that gelatin thing inside that beautiful cranium of yours. It's time to upgrade your brain. It's why I've called myself the Brain Warrior. It's about making sure that you have the best hardware so that all of this software doesn't keep getting stuck on a shelf. Reach out to me, DM me. We'll have a conversation. We'll figure it out. I'm going to go have a conversation with my VIP group. If you want to learn about that, go to personalundevelopment.com. Personalundevelopment.com, and you can get inside where now I'm going to go have conversations and you can ask me some one-on-one questions. So I love you tons. I appreciate you so much. I am your head brain training misfit, Sean Murphy. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Till then, bye for now.